What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler. You're watching Mom's Basement MMA. My next guest is a professional mixed martial artist. He fights out of Austin, Texas, and he joins me ahead of his next fight at Fury 98, where he'll be headlining, fighting for the Fury FC lightweight title versus Mansher Khera. Devon Dixon joins me on the program yet again. Devon, you're a brave man for being on my show, because I say controversial things on Instagram. People get all triggered by them, but nonetheless, you're undeterred, baby. You're right here with me again. I'm glad we could do this.
Hey, well, I'm happy to be on the winning side of the picks last night.
You know what? You know what? We did okay. Despite my controversy, we did okay. We did okay. And speaking of doing okay, you did pretty good in your last fight against Tedrick Macklin. That was at Fury 93 back this summer. Talk about an all-out war, man. Like I remember the grappling, I remember the elbows, I remember you cut him up pretty good. Back and forth fight. What do you remember from it?
Man, yeah, it was a good fight. I felt really good going into it. I dropped him and took him down right away, and pretty much beat him up the first round, cut him open. Second round, he knew he was down, so he came at me hot, which led to a little bit of the back and forth. Third round, I was able to get on top of him, control him for the most part, and then I got him in a submission. And man, that submission was close. He knows that he was gurgling. Like he had to spit his mouthpiece out. He was gurgling. It was tight. It was close. But Tedrick's a gamer. There's a reason why he was undefeated. So he's always going to bring the fight. Personally, looking back, I feel that fight was definitely closer than it should have been. I feel like I should have controlled that fight way more looking back. But yeah, man. Obviously, he's a gamer. He was undefeated, but just like Bruce and Tedrick, they were undefeated till they fought me, and just like Mansher Khera, he's undefeated till he fights me. And I'm gonna take all these guys' O's, and I'm gonna win the belt, and just punch my ticket to the UFC.
Devin, I thought it was a really solid performance. I thought the grappling made the big difference, and for me, looking at the contest versus Macklin, I gave you rounds 1 and 3. I thought the second was close, but
Yeah.
1 and 3, I thought it was pretty straightforward. I was surprised it was a split decision. Obviously, you're standing around, you're waiting. Everyone knows what's coming. You know it's going to be a split based off of how long it's taken the scores to come in. When you look over at your corner and you're looking at your guys, like, did I get it? Like, what are they telling you? And were you surprised that it was a split?
I was pretty confident at the end of it, especially talking to my coaches, looking at my family in the crowd, like my boys in the crowd, and I was pretty confident I won rounds 1 and 3 for sure. Especially because I finished round 3 on top. Like I had controlled most of the round, and then I finished round 3 on top. So I was pretty confident. But then when I heard it, when the judges were calling a split decision, I was like, no fucking way, dude. No. So you can literally visually see me mouth like when they 30-27 Dixon. I was like, split? Like how's this a split? Personally, yeah, I guess I would give it 2 rounds to 1, only because he ended on top in the second round. I wouldn't say he necessarily dominated that round, but just because he ended on top, like objectively, I guess I'll say he took round 2. But yeah, I was a little shocked that it was a split decision. But I guess when you look at the scorecard of 30-27, like in favor of me, I mean, whatever.
Devin, it's been a journey to get here. You were away for a couple years. We talked about your injury the last time you were on the show, and you had told me like, ground zero, like this is going to be like the start of like an epic comeback, and like you'll see, and that's really all that you said about it. And now here you are. You're getting ready to have a title fight for one of the premier regional promotions in the country. Can you tell me a little bit, like, 2 fights into this so far, like kind of like how are you feeling, and have you accomplished all the goals that you'd set out for yourself a few months back when we were starting 2024?
Man, I'm feeling pretty good. It's pretty nice being out here in Austin again, getting the attention that I'm getting out here with the coaches trying to help me out, develop me, getting what I need to get as far as development at this point in my career before I get to the UFC. And I feel like it's just all coming full circle. Obviously coming off an injury when I fought Bruce, you want to set your expectations high on where things are going to go, where the direction's headed, but you never know after being out for that long. Then obviously beating Bruce, taking him out in the second round in his hometown, undefeated guy. And then, you know, next fight comes around, I'm fighting another guy who's tough. He's undefeated. I beat him in a decision. So, you know, obviously things get the ball rolling. Obviously, had I beaten Tedrick in May when I was supposed to fight him, I probably would have gotten my Contender Series shot this year. But I don't, like, personally, I'm not rushing anything. I'm 27 years old. After I beat Mansher, I'll be 8-1, 27 years old still. So, like, you know, there's nothing I'm rushing at this point. I want to be ready when the opportunity comes. And after I take out a guy like Mansher in November, actually in exactly 4 weeks, I feel like it just, I will have checked all the boxes at the regional level. It's like at that point, you know, at that point, 3 back-to-back undefeated guys, like what other tests do I need to pass at the regional level without getting my shot? Whether it's a short notice UFC fight or if I have to fucking wait till next year to get a Contender Series, I'm all right with that. I just, again, I want to make sure I'm ready. I'm 27 years old. My career technically is just getting started. That's how I look at this because of, you know, again, the injury, changing gyms and states, and got new coaches and new teams. So, you know, to me, the journey's just getting started. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm getting better. So I'm just grateful for it.
Can you tell me, Devon, obviously 2024, you've gone up against 2 undefeated guys. You did enough to get the victory in both of those contests. Those are like notable prospects that you beat. And after you beat Macklin, at what point did you kind of like get the idea that your next fight was going to be a headliner and for a title? Like, how did this fight with Khera all come together?
So they told me in the cage that night. But then I was like, oh shit. All right, yeah. Hey, Mansher's a tough ass dude. He's probably the best guy on the Fury roster right now. I mean, make no mistake about it, he's legit as fuck. And honestly, those are the fights that excite me. You know, especially where I'm at right now in my career. I don't need to fight a fucking tomato can to build my record. You know, again, beating a guy like Mansher definitely shows I'm ready to get into the UFC and be on that level. So once they told me that it was for a title fight, again in the cage right there, it was like that. It lit a fire into my ass. To me, I wasn't gonna rush to fight again after this last fight. I was gonna wait probably till even December. But they were like, nah, title fight, sure, this date. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, there's no reason to turn it down. I'm healthy right now, so yeah, I feel good going into it. They offered it. I'm taking it.
So you've been preparing for a little while for this upcoming bout on November 3rd, and a camp a little bit different for you this time. I know that you're based out of Austin, but I know that you recently went to Vegas and you did a little bit of training there. Can you talk a little bit about going out to Vegas and spending some of your camp out there?
Yeah, man. So I went out there because really just I got some buddies in the UFC out there, so I was just trying to train with some different guys, get some different looks, and I know it's going to be a tough fight, so I was trying to train with some real tough guys. And I think cross-training is very good. You get new looks, different bodies, and it was good, man. I went to Extreme Couture, grappled with a bunch of guys over there, was at the PI with some of the UFC guys over there, and training with them guys over there. And I got some good training in. I feel really good. I feel confident based on where I'm at against a lot of these guys. And yeah, man, Vegas was always an option as far as like living out there or potentially living out there to train. But you know, as things are playing out, I think it might be more of a place to go do my camps at. Live here in Austin, develop my skills, and then go out there to go do some camps. But we'll see. It was a good time. Train with some good guys, and you know, I know where I stand against these guys in training.
Your opponent, Mansher Khera, he's an undefeated guy, and I look at him and I see a guy who is a very dangerous jiu-jitsu guy. He wants to tie you up. He wants the limb. He wants a choke. He wants something like that. Why are people struggling so much against this guy? Why is he undefeated? Like, when you look at this guy, like, how come nobody's been able to figure him out so far?
I think I honestly don't think it's a matter of like figuring him out. I think he's just so good at what he does. He knows what he wants, which is to take you down. He wants you to make a mistake so he can take your back, which is what he's really good at. He's very opportunistic. as opposed to forcing a back take, he's very opportunistic. So he kind of waits for you to make a mistake, and he's gonna capitalize. He's that good, very high level grappler. So that's what going into this fight. I'm very aware of that he wants what he's done in, I think, 6 or 7 of his fights now. I think he's 7-0 in MMA with a bare knuckle MMA fight, so they don't count that. Technically, he's 8-0, but you can just see a pattern in all of his fights. He wants to take you down. He wants you to make a mistake and get up. And as you're getting up, he wants to take your back and choke you out. I'm aware of that. I think most people, they panic when somebody's on top of you like that. And that's what he wants. He wants you to panic. He wants to capitalize on you making a mistake. And because he's that good grappling, he's gonna take advantage of that. So going into it, I don't think it's about everybody knows what he wants. It's every one of his fights. There's nothing different from his first fight to this past fight that he just had. It's the same thing every time. And but again, that's what makes him dangerous too. It's like what Khabib, right? Khabib, you knew he was going to take you down. You knew he was going to ground and pound you, and that's how he finished his fights. That being said, I think we've got plenty of people out here to help with that, and I think that I'm more than ready for what he's gonna bring to the table, and I'm ready to show it come November 3rd. I think it's gonna be a good scrap. I think he thinks he's gonna do what he's done to everybody else, just like Tedrick thought he was gonna do the same thing he did to everybody else, just like Bruce thought he was gonna do the same thing to everybody else, and then you fight a guy like me who's gonna scrap, who's not gonna give you what you want, and I'm gonna turn into a fucking fight.
Devon, I know you're a freestyle guy, but when I think of you, I immediately think of wrestling. I immediately think of grappling. And when you look at Khera, where do you feel like you have the biggest advantages over him? Like, do you have to approach a guy like this who's dangerous off the ground in a different manner from any of your other prior opponents, or is this just another fight?
I don't think I really changed much of the approach because I know what he wants. So I'm just not going to give him what he wants, right? And I think not giving him too much respect is what's going to help me in this. You know what I'm saying? Because I do respect him. I know he's really good at what he does. It's shown time and time again. He knows what he wants. He's going to get what he wants. But just not respecting that. Turn it into a fight, which is what I do every time. I'm not easy to take out. That being said, I'm going to bring it to him. I'm ready to grapple too. Like you said, you've seen me grapple in my fights. I've out-grappled the grapplers. I've outstruck the strikers, and that's what I'm going to do this fight. He's a really good grappler, but this is an MMA fight. So that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it up, make it scrappy, and he's not going to be able to get what he wants. And I'm almost assured of that.
I know that you're not looking past this guy. I know you're taking him very, very seriously, and you've mentioned to me on and off camera, like, this is going to be a fight. This guy's a dog, and you'll be ready for it. But looking slightly ahead, if I can indulge you a little bit, like winning a lightweight title from Fury FC, like that would be like a massive, massive accomplishment. This is one of the best regional promotions in the country. What would winning a title this early on in your MMA career, like what would all this mean for you?
Man, it'd be pretty cool, man. I won a belt at the amateur level, and that was kind of like my showcase of knowing, all right, I'm ready. Like I'm past these regional guys. So to win a regional amateur guys, and same thing with winning a belt here for Fury. Fury's legit, man. They got probably at this point, they're probably getting close to LFA with the type of talent they're bringing into their promotions. If I'm being completely honest, LFA was the king for a long time, but I think as you're seeing over and over now, Fury's bringing in some of the best guys. So being Mansher, winning the belt, I think like how I look at this, it's like, it's like my golden ticket to the chocolate factory. Like I beat Mansher, that's my ticket to get into the UFC. They've seen me beat a legit guy who's finished everybody he's fought, and so when I beat Mansher, it's like I was saying to you before the show, it's like what other tests do I have at this level before I get into the UFC?
Final question for you. Can you explain to Sean, Mick, Dana, like what are they getting by bringing somebody like you into the UFC? Like what type of fighter can the rest of the country expect at that next level of MMA in the octagon?
So you hear Dana saying it all the time. Like, win or lose, you want a guy that's out there to fight. That's what he likes to see as a fight. I've never been taken out easily. All my fights are fights, even when I win them, which I've won 99% of my fights. I'm just, just throwing that out there. Like, you guys are getting somebody that's coming to fight. So every time I fight, it's exciting. More often than not, you're going to see a finish. And as I progress and mature, my game just gets more refined. And truthfully, man, I think that's what you're going to see November 3rd. You're going to see a very refined, patient, technical Devon Dixon. And I know I was saying about making it scrappy, and really that's just not giving him what he wants. Like, I'm just going to make this fight not comfortable for him, and I got the gas tank to do it. I don't know if he does. I'm expecting this to go 5 rounds, honestly. I'm expecting there to be a bad situation in the fight. I see myself winning the fight. I see myself winning every situation in the fight. And with that being said, as you've seen with my last couple of fights, like, there's always some back and forth moments, but I just keep coming out on top. So it's maybe not always the most it's not the best situation for me. I know it's very fan friendly. People love to see it. They're fun, exciting fights. So, again, Dana likes to see fights, guys that like to scrap. And that's what I'm here to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Day of Reckoning, November 3rd, main event, UFC Fight Pass, Fury FC 98. Make sure you tune in. Devon, before I let you go, any shout-outs you need to do, any sponsors we need to talk about? Now's the time. Let's do it.
Man, just want to shout out Henzo Gracie, man. They've been absolutely amazing. All the guys over there helped me with my grappling, understanding of positional situations. I want to shout out my coach, Jason Rivera, who's been really helping me with my striking. I think you guys are going to see something different come November 3rd, just like you saw, again, with the Bruce Whitehead fight compared to the Tedrick fight. Like, there was more striking in the Tedrick fight, a little bit more back and forth. You're doing a little bit more. And as you said in the podcast, you see me you see me as more of a grappler. I do love to grapple, but we've been refining the striking as well. So, yeah, shout out to Jason, man. I think we're gonna put some hands to this guy's face, and we're gonna win that belt November 3rd.
Devon, I appreciate your time, sir. I wish you the best of skill next month. I look forward to having you back on the program very soon.
Awesome, thank you, brother. Always good talking to you, Tyler, and you have a good one, brother.